Alright, so in this video we're going to be doing a little TIG welding. We're going to go over how I made this little water tank with a radiator cap on top for the air-to-water intercooler setup for the Chevelle Turbo LS build. So basically I need a little bit of a reservoir. What's missing from this guy here are two bungs and some brackets, but basically in this video I just want to take you to how I got to this point right here. And definitely learned a lot in this video. I've only had this TIG welder for 4 months now. It's the Prime Weld TIG 225X. I got a bunch of videos up here on it. I'm getting more comfortable with it. However, this is my first box or cube or whatever you want to call it. A lot of outside corners. Learned a lot of tacking. And also made a few mistakes along the way. So those are in the video as well. Stupid mistakes. So let's just get right into this video and show you how I made this. Okay, so I have some room here for a water tank. Mocked it up with some cardboard and hot glue. And this guy is going to sit right here. It's going to be about a gallon or more capacity. And this, I could actually make it bigger, but I don't have the inner fender in right now. And this just will give me some wiggle room as far as mounting and whatnot. And I think it'll be sufficient. So that's the plan. Okay, so I cut all the aluminum plate from with this saw here, and I just stuck an aluminum blade on here. I'm a big fan of Diablo products. All their blades, all their saw blades, Sawzall blades, and all that stuff works pretty damn good, and you can get it at Home Depot. I think the blade was 15, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever. It cuts through aluminum like nothing. It makes a freaking mess. The chips go everywhere, and guess what? It started snowing. So wet chips are impossible to clean up. So whenever I cut aluminum outside, I don't know what happens. It starts raining or snowing, and it's just a nightmare to clean up. But in any case, that's how I did it, and used a 4-foot level straight edge as a fence to try to get the most accurate cuts I can. The plates were off a little bit, and that's why the box won't come out square, but it's good enough. So over here I cut out some material out of 1/8 inch 50-52 aluminum, and so it's going to be 6 by 6 by 10 exterior dimensions. So I got 4 of those, 2 of these, and then I already punched a hole with a hole saw, and I'm going to be using a standard radiator cap on here. Now a radiator cap is probably a little overkill. I could probably just have a regular screw-on cap here. But this allows me to actually get some pressure in the system with a relief. This is a 4 psi cap. They make these in all kinds of ratings, but in any case, I think this gives me a little flexibility on what to run here as far as the cap. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go with. And then I have some aluminum weld-on bungs that I got from Monkey Fab Garage, and then this I probably won't put in or weld in until I get the brackets on here, and I gotta mount the pump and all that good stuff. So let's just focus on getting the box and the neck welded on for now. Alright, got a crappy tack on there.
Yeah, can we go sledding?
Sledding?
Yeah. Mom says there's no sledding.
Not right now, I'm busy, but yeah, later. Alright, so we got 2 tacks on there. Time to fully weld it up, I guess, right? Man, this is welding up like crap. What's going on here? Okay, so I had to skip some of that footage. Here's what happened. I grabbed stainless filler rod and started welding with this like an idiot. I'm like, what the hell is going wrong? So this area right here that looks like total garbage was filled with stainless 308 or 309 or whatever, what is it, 308 rod. I grabbed the wrong stuff. And I had to grind out as much as possible. And here's what I'm left with. Thankfully, that will be on the inside of the tank and no one's going to see it, right? So now that I have the right filler rod on the table, let's proceed. But this is done. Again, it looks like it looks terrible. I'll vapor blast it or whatever, but it should hold just fine. But man, okay. So now it's time to build the box, and what I'm gonna do is line it up corner to corner and just hit it really fast with the tack. And I'll put this on an angle right now, just so I can get in here and tack. There we go. So you just hammer the pedal all the way and then back off like a light switch, maybe for a quarter second. Okay, now this is on an angle, so all I'm going to do is straighten it out and then hit it with the tack on this side as well. Just like that. I need to get a metal one of these. The machine is square, but let's see how. Now I'll just blast it on the inside here. A couple quick tacks. So I increased my amperage all the way 2 1/4, and I'm just blasting it for a brief moment. Okay, and it worked here, but it didn't work there, and I actually am blowing through a little bit. So anyway, we'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, so this thing isn't perfectly square. I'm going to do a little bit of grinding. There's a little high spot here, so I'll make sure that's all good before I continue. But yeah, it's not perfect. I cut this with a circular saw, but I should be able to fix it up. On one of these, I actually dipped my tungsten on purpose. I had a puddle on this plate and on this plate, and I stirred it with the tungsten. I got that trick from 6061.com. Not ideal, but you know, I didn't have a filler rod or anything, so that's the way it worked out. Okay, this thing is not too square and it's not too level or whatever. I could probably grind that a little more, but overall, yeah, I'm gonna grind that a little bit. It's angled because it's the way it worked out. Alright, we got our box tacked up. Alright, so what we have here is a box. Everything's tacked up. I went ahead and hit all the edges with Scotch Brite, cleaned it all with acetone, and what I think I'm going to do now is there's just small gaps. So what I want to do is clamp everything and then maybe put a few more tacks in places. At least one, maybe one here, one here. That way when I start at the corners, this will obviously, it might pop. So I want to have some more tacks just to hold it all in place. Overall, it came out great. It's a little, wobbly, and even the top is slightly at an angle because I had to sand it to fit and whatnot. So it's not super square or level at the top, but once you put it in the car, it's not going to matter. I mean, it just holds water. Alright, so here's the first pass, not bad. Here's where the tack was, and I started getting all goofy with the filler rod. I couldn't feed it, and then it's drooping a little bit. So I kind of goofed right here in the middle. But overall, it looks pretty good. I'll take it. I mean, so it's just going to get better from here on out, I hope. Okay, so that one came out real nice too. I probably should have added a little more filler here. I got a little bit of crater. But overall, I'll take it, man. For the bottom, not bad. Okay, another decent weld. Looks pretty damn good. Alright, so let's look at this. This looks pretty good, considering how much time so I screwed up right there. But it's cool. It's fun. I'm getting the hang of it, and this is the bottom. So it's looking pretty good, man. So now let's start on the long ones, on the long runs. All right, we'll do the long runs. Let's see if we can just feed the whole rod or go without stopping. All right, so there's that one. Got off to a little rough start here, but smoothed it out. Anyway, I think it looks good. I'll take it. All right, let's look at some of these welds. Remember, I started at the bottom thinking these would be the worst looking welds, and that way as I run up the sides and towards the top, the welds should appear to look better, right? Well, that didn't really happen, but anyway, look at the bottom here. I don't know which is my first one, but this came out really nice. I think this might have been my first one. So what happened here is, look right here, I goofed. There was probably a tack here, and not only that is, I think what happened was I started with the filler rod way out like this, and as it started getting shorter, all of a sudden when I got to here, I go, uh-oh, I got to start feeding this with my hand like this. So that was something, or a technique that I really, I'm not good at. So I really had to pay attention and start feeding after every dab, to get to go more than just an inch or two. Okay, so that's I had to throttle back on the pedal a little bit, and then I was goofing around with the filler rod, so that's that blip right there. Then as we went on, I think I was able to get that, but just got to get consistent dabs. But overall, the bottom looks really good, except for that right there, but that looks pretty dang good. Okay, looking over here, it still looks pretty good. It started off really shiny, and then it got a little duller. I think, I don't know what happened. I don't know enough to tell you what, one way or another, but anyway, and this one looks a little goofy. I think I had a little popping on one of these, and I can see some contamination in here, so I don't know what happened. This one probably looks the worst and most inconsistent. This one here, I definitely screwed up. Oh yeah, I was traveling this way. Okay, so I started here and ended up here towards the top. And here, it was getting really hot, and I think the metal started to get away from me, so I had to put a lot of filler in here, and then I actually had to stop and tune it up a little bit. Overall, it looks good. I mean, what can I say for my first box ever? You know, it's a little wobbly too. Oh well. But yeah, I think we already looked at that one. This one, you know, looks okay, I guess. You know, I'll take it. And then here's a big blob here. This joint, the fit up was a little weird. I think it wasn't like I think it was more of an overlap, so I think I was more down on the side here. You can tell, like over here. But same thing here. I started going, and all of a sudden I got to here, and I ran out of filler rod, and I had to jumble around and whatnot. So that's that. Okay, and the last weld's up here. You know, that one looks pretty good. That one looks maybe a little cold, but it looks okay. That one looks pretty dang nice. And then here, I don't know what happened. I think it was the joint itself. I was more vertical than I was horizontal, if you will. I was aiming it more this way. And then, of course, this corner is a little goofy. It's not totally square. This isn't level. But again, it's just a box that's going to be hidden in my car, and it should work just fine. I mean, so overall, I'm happy I didn't screw it up. I still have brackets to put on and bungs, and I don't even know if it holds water at this point, but in any case, you know, I'm getting somewhere with this welding, so that's cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and fill it up with water. I will do a pressure test later on, but obviously this thing isn't done yet, but I guess we can fill it up and see what it holds. All right, I'm curious to see how much this can hold, and also if it leaks. So, got just some tap water here. All right, so more than a gallon. Let me get some more water. All right, so I got about a half gallon in here, I would say. Maybe a little less. Let's just keep going. All right, so that's about 1 1/4 gallons. It's very deceiving, honestly. But anyway, about 1 1/4, which was right about my calculations for before I even built this. I'm like, I want at least probably a gallon, right? Let's let it sit for a little while and see if it leaks anywhere. So far, nothing. Awesome. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and I had this guy laying on its side. I had it like this for a few minutes, and there are 0 leaks so far, so that's awesome. It's a little heavy with water in it, obviously. So far so good. That's pretty much going to do it for this video until I figure out where the bungs go, the brackets, and that's not until later in the build because I have to assemble the car some more. All right, let's talk about the welder settings on this PrimeWeld TIG 225X. I'm not going to turn the machine on because the fan's a little loud, and I got the heater going actually, so I don't want to mess up the audio, but the only thing you would see is this lit up, and that's this welding current knob right here. Okay, so let's go over this. Let's start all the way here and work our way down. Okay, so first we're doing TIG, so you flip the rocker switch up. Aluminum is AC, so you flip that up to AC. This is your AC frequency, and straight up is 120 hertz, so that's what I used. This knob here is AC balance, and right about there is 30%, so that's a good starting point. These 4 knobs don't do anything. It doesn't matter where you're at because I'm using the foot pedal, and this rocker is switched to 2T. So these 4 knobs do nothing. Since we're doing 1/8 inch plate, I had the welding current set to 125 amps, and that was plenty. Pre-flow, straight up and down, it looks like it's about a second of pre-flow of the gas before it strikes the arc. These 3 knobs here we're not doing anything with. Doesn't matter where they're at because we have the pulse off. And lastly, post flow straight up and down. Don't really need it too much for aluminum other than to protect the tungsten. So I have that just straight up and down. I'm not sure how many seconds that is. It's 0 to 15, so that's right in the middle, so it's probably around 7 seconds or so. So those are the machine settings. As far as the torch setup, I have the number 5 cup that came with the machine. I have about a 1/4 inch stick out on a 3/32 lanthanated tungsten. I hit it with the belt sander of the my Harbor Freight belt sander. It looks like it's a 15-degree grind on it to a blunt tip, and then it naturally balls over time. So I got a nice ball on there, and that just happens to get there naturally. As you use this, the end of the tungsten will wear out a little bit or balls up. So that's kind of where I have it, and it works just fine. And as far as gas flow, about 12 to 15 CFH on the flow meter, okay, on the regulator, and that's it. All right, guys. Well, that was a cool little welding project. Stay tuned for more.